How do you start a blog? It doesn't have to be complicated. Here are 8 simple steps to start a blog. Hey guys, it's ANITA Wing LEE. Welcome back if you've been to my channel before. And if you're brand new here, welcome. These are my creative studio sessions where I share insights and ideas for living a brave, meaningful, and creative life. So I created my first blog in 2012, and since then, that tiny little digital space has opened so many doors for me. There might be a part of you that's thinking, what's the point in making a blog? Because there are thousands, millions of blogs out there now, and do I really have something new to offer? However, a blog is not just about other people, it's also about what it does for you. And I've realized that the process of making websites and blogs is part of how I created the life that I wanted to live. It's part of how I figured out I wanted to travel and how I was able to keep traveling. Basically, having a website or a blog just opens so many doors for you, and you don't have to know exactly where you're going yet, but if you know that you want to create something digital that's positive and put it out into the world, then it's never going to be too late to create a blog, because the reality is the internet is going to be around for a long time and people will be reading and looking for content for many, many years to come. So I've broken down the process of creating a blog into 8 simple steps. Here is step 1. Choose your topic. One of the things I love about the internet is that you can create a blog or platform about anything on earth, like literally anything. So you get to pick your topic. And by the way, you can change it in the future if you want, but for starters, it's good to select one area because then you know what you want to write about. Like if you're a mom and you want to write about being a mom and raising kids, you could do that. Or you can write about being vegan, or you can write about healthy lifestyle. Your topic can be as broad or as narrow as you want. On my blog these days, I have a couple categories that I write in, and they are big categories. Things like travel, creativity, adventure, leadership, personal growth. And that's just me. I realize that, you know what, I can't just write about one thing, but that's me. There are other people who are very successful, like vegan recipe blogs or makeup blogs, and you get to pick where you want to start. Maybe you have a vision so that one day you want something that is like a full-on lifestyle blog and has tons of stuff. That's great. You can do that, but at the beginning, it is easier to just start with something simple and just go in that direction, because as you're going to see, you're going to get traction with every step that you take. As you're honing in on your topic, do a gut check. Is the thing that you want to write about because you genuinely want to write about it, or is it because you think it's going to look good to other people or it's going to be successful so that you can make money online? At these early stages of making a blog, I recommend that you don't worry about trying to make money from it in the future. It definitely can lead to money and all kinds of career opportunities, but I recommend starting your blog because it's something in your heart that you just have to put out. That's how you know that you're going to have the momentum and the passion to see it through in the long haul, because making money from a blog is not a short-term thing. It is a long-term investment. So for now, pick a topic that you're passionate about. If there are also multiple categories that you want to write about, you can list all of them. I started out with a very simple blog, but nowadays I'm expanding into more and more categories because there's other things I want to write about. Step number 2 is to select your domain name and to buy it. This is the part that's like www.anitasblog.com. So that Anita's blog part can be whatever it is that you want. And you can choose something creative, like something meaningful. You can choose like peanut butter cup blog. Like you can pick whatever kind of fun name you want, or you can also use something practical like veganrecipes.com. People have different styles and it's completely up to you. I chose to use my name because I knew that one day I wanted to write books and do other things, and I knew it would be easier to just go with my name from the outset. So if you are not sure, you can pick something for now and also know that you can change your domain name later. If there's any part of you that eventually wants to write books though, I do recommend picking up your domain name for your actual name. Just like I have ANITAWingLEE.com, pick it up for your full name. The way you purchase a domain name is you go to something like namecheap.com or GoDaddy and buy your domain name. Normally they're $10 to $15, so they're not very much money. But if you end up with something where it says it's really expensive, that could be because someone is squatting on that domain name, which means they're holding it and they eventually want to sell it. So I recommend in the early stages, if there's something you want and it's taken by someone else or it's really expensive, just pick something else for now. It's better to get momentum from taking action and moving forward in the process instead of getting stuck on these little details. Step number 3 is mapping. You're going to map out your website and your content ideas. This means when you look at your website, you have your menu bar on the top. You get to pick what you want to have. You can have about, you can have portfolio, you can have recipes, you can have contact, and obviously you can have blog. This is where you actually get to think about what are the pieces that you want on your website. Now, even though this is titled a blog is a website, and most websites are more than a blog. So I really encourage you to have fun thinking through what else you want to put on your website. Then you also want to gather all of your content ideas. So if you've decided that you want to do a vegan lifestyle blog, then you can start collecting your ideas for recipes. Start collecting your ideas for what a vegan lifestyle is, and make lists of all these content ideas. At this point, you don't have to start writing full-on blogs yet. We will get to that, but I find it's helpful just to get clarity on what are the different categories of content, and then where is this content going to sit. And then you have a clear idea of what you actually will need to write to populate the blog. But just having the framework for where all of your content is going to sit is really helpful. So step number 4 is to select your platform. I've used Squarespace to host my blog and website for many years, and I like it. It's simple and pretty straightforward to use, so that's what I've just kept using. There are other things like Wix and WordPress. These are other ways that you can either build your website on top of a platform or use the platform itself. There's a lot of all-in-one website services now, so if you don't know where to start and you don't want to be overwhelmed, I recommend Squarespace or Wix, as they have templates that you can work off of, and it's going to look good because as long as you follow the template, you're good to go. So most blogging platforms have a fee. There are free things like Tumblr, and you can get free WordPress sites. However, I encourage you to not shy away from investing in your blog. If you've got a little bit of wiggle room in your budget, why not put it into your passion project? It doesn't hurt, and it does make sure that you actually show up to your blog more and take it more seriously. So if you're okay with investing in a blog, then go for one of these paid platforms. They do operate more smoothly, and they tend to have less funky things where you can get stuck on. And for me, that was a really important thing when I was starting out. The nice thing about a platform like Squarespace or Wix is that they have free trials, and it forces you to build your website fast and to figure out everything you want and just put it together instead of drawing it out over a long period of time. So if you want to go with something like Squarespace or Wix, I recommend you select the free trial and then you're ready to start building. Step number 5 is to start writing content for your website and your blog. This is where you're going to write your about page, anything else that you want to explain about yourself, and you have the fun part of actually writing your blogs. So this is where you go to the list of categories or topics that you figured out in step 1 and 2, and now you actually populate it with full-on blogs. So as you're writing blogs, you might discover that some are really short or some are too long, and this is going to be a process of you discovering for yourself what kind of blogs you want to write and how it works. Some people write really long ones and that's their style. Some people are able to churn out blogs fast and more regularly because they write short ones. This is going to be about figuring out what works for you, and this is the beauty of the process. I love blogging because I learn so much about myself in the process of kind of digging deep and seeing what it is that I actually have to say to the world. Step number 6 is to get photos. Now, there are lots of blogs on the internet that have done well and they don't have any photos at all. If that's your style, then you can skip this step and keep moving. However, I would recommend that you have photos on your blog. I love landing on someone's blog and being able to see who they are and how they show the world through their eyes. And if you are on my channels, especially if you're following me on Instagram, I'm going to guess that you like photography and the way it makes you feel. So there are a few things to consider. One is, do you want photos of yourself? And if you want photos of yourself, can you take them or do you want someone else to take them? You might already be a seasoned photographer and you've already got a big pool of photos, which is amazing because you've got tons of material for your blog ready, especially on the visual side. However, if you don't have any photos of yourself and you don't want to take photos of yourself, you've got options. You can either just exclude photos of yourself and have photos of other things, or you can hire someone to take photos for you. The cool thing is through things like flytographer.com or Airbnb, you can actually really easily find professional photographers now. And of course, you can go on other sites and ask around and ask friends or find students to take photos for you. Personally, I think having photos of yourself makes a big difference because when you go on someone's blog and you can see who they are, for me, it just builds an instant connection. Step number 7 is to put all of these pieces together in one go. I highly recommend this because when you're dealing with a new technology-based creative project, I find it's better to just like sprint, stay up late one night and get 90% of it all together at once because then I'm able to look at it and I feel successful and I've got momentum. When I take my time chopping a big fun project up into too many small pieces, it's easy to get overwhelmed. And if you spent a month doing only 50% of the blog, it feels like it's taking forever. But the thing with blogging platforms nowadays, especially if you use something like Squarespace or Wix or other things that are like an all-in-one website platform, they're quite simple to figure out and intuitive. If you know how to use Microsoft Word or navigate YouTube, you're gonna be able to figure these websites out. So I recommend taking everything that we've done so far and picking a weekend and then just busting out your blog. Just stay on your computer, make a cup of tea, and just keep tweaking and playing with things. You're going to get the hang of putting it together. You're going to select the theme that works for you. You're going to insert your photos. This is time when you can actually just start writing some of your blogs and writing your about page. Again, if you take too much time creating all these separate pieces, I find, even for me, it's easy to get like unmotivated because you're like, where's the progress? But when I do things all at once, I'm like, yes, it's together, and instantly I feel this like big jolt of satisfaction. So step 7, put it all together at once. It's a lot better than doing it in bits and pieces. Step number 8 is more like a phase than a step, and it is to sustain and grow your blog. If you did step 7, by the end of a weekend or even like one day, you can have a solid blog already put together. The next thing then is just to keep growing and pouring into it. Blogs become successful when there's a lot of content on them because then the Google web crawlers can search through your content and create keywords, and that's how other people will find you when they search things up in the Google search engine. So the more that you write for your blog and put content out there, the more searchable it's going to be and the easier it's going to be. And then you're going to build relationships with other bloggers, and this whole ecosystem will start developing around your blog. But those are later stages. Right now, just create a plan for yourself for how you're going to sustain your blog. Do you want to publish a blog once a week, twice a week? What is sustainable for you and what's going to keep you motivated and inspired? If your life is really busy, is it going to be better to have big writing day once a month and then schedule your blogs to go out over the next 30 days? There's all kinds of different configurations for creating content, and it's about finding the work style that's right for you. Even for me, there are times right now I batch content a lot because I work jobs and I don't have the time to like blog every single day, or or freestyle in my creative flow every single day. It helps when I can put things together and make a lot at once and then schedule things out over time. So whatever it is for you, create a plan for how you can sustain this blog and grow it. Having a blog is a lifelong journey and it is so rewarding. I really encourage you to keep it up and don't get discouraged, especially when you're starting out. You might be following some extremely popular blogs right now and feeling like, no one's reading mine, other than my mom and my cat. But a blog is a long-term investment in your passion, in your purpose, and in your career, if it's related to your career. So get started on that blog that I know is in your heart and share it with the world. So I hope you found this video helpful. Let me know if you've got other questions related to this in the comments. I'm ANITA Wing LEE, and if you want to join me in my creative adventures, you can join me on Instagram or subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much for watching and for being a part of this journey with me. I'll see you in the next one.